Now, I probably should say up front too that I'm not funny. Tripod is. They'll start featuring in about 10 minutes, but I just thought I'd do that one. Manage expectations. But thanks for coming. And today we're looking at a case study through Penrith City Council around looking outside the box to get the message across about waste management education and the power of collaborating too with different sectors to get there, in particular the arts. My consultancy is all about bringing private sector investment into the arts and creative space. So I partner, that might be through placemaking, through developers supporting and commissioning works from artists, or sponsoring community events, or philanthropists supporting social enterprises and cultural infrastructure, things like that. So there's lots of ways. The fun part is there's no limits in creative partnerships. And so working with Penrith, that's exactly what we developed. So the arts are easy to dismiss as unnecessary and a waste of money when we've got lots of issues like homelessness and health and the environment. But the wonderful thing about the arts is that it has a track record of raising awareness and galvanising people and shocking people into action. If you think about film, like Al Gore's film, The Inconvenient Truth, that was an absolute game changer. The street murals you might walk past on a daily basis that have an impact, or music anthems like Helen Reddy's I Am Woman is being played again in America, who would have guessed. Books, poetry, photography, video, dance, they're all relevant. The Australia Council recently had a survey which showed that 98% of Australians engage directly with the arts. So if you're looking to access a broad audience and people who may not even know they're interested in your waste education program, it's a great medium to use because you're always looking to educate others and grow that awareness. So today we're going to have a look at how Penrith Waste Services team achieved that. And so it was wonderful to meet, where's my clicker? Tracy Chalk from Penrith and the wonderful team, and apologies to James, who's a key person in all of this, and I don't have his photo. And at my first meeting with Tracy, she had very clear objectives. That was to celebrate World Environment Day, to engage the whole Penrith City Council area in creating a sustainable environment, and to raise awareness around waste management in a positive, engaging and uplifting way. So being the open-minded people they are, they didn't even balk when I suggested contemporary dance to do this, so, which I thought they would. But the thing about contemporary dance, or dance, is you can be involved regardless of age. There are no language barriers, no cultural barriers, and it also includes performance design, music elements. So even if dance isn't your thing, there is a role in there for people to be involved. So we selected 6 artists from Western Sydney, from the region. So we're also creating employment opportunities for artists in the process. And they ran workshops with primary school students across 2 semesters, the theme being the environment, of course. And they ran workshops in dance, sound and music, costume design. And they all culminated in a performance at the Joan Sutherland Performing Arts venue. The workshops were a forum to discuss attitudes, waste material was used to create the costumes, etc. That was supplied by local businesses as well as council, so business was involved as well. They visited a landfill site to record the sound in the landfill, and that became the sound for the movement, for the dance performance. Diversity was encouraged by participation of elderly SITs, youth, Indigenous group and local business. One of those was a group called Agile Not Fragile, who would have guessed, a group of contemporary dancers all aged over 60 based in Penrith. We didn't know that group existed at the time the idea came about. A local Indigenous group performed, and also a parkour group, so the younger demographic were represented too. So it also encouraged people to visit the Performing Arts Centre. Many had never been there before. The plan was also to activate a new space called the Mondo, a public space, but it just happened that day was the worst storm in 40 years. That's how the media recorded it. And luckily we had the Joan Sutherland, but people came out regardless. The show did go on and people participated in all of the activities. So the outcomes were more than waste education. But as we left, I remember being under an umbrella with Tracy, and it was because it was an ambitious project, and she turned around and said, let's try comedy next year. I was like, okay. So, very inspired idea, because as I said, the arts builds awareness, but comedy has been proven to not only relay the message, but improve the retention of the message. You remember things that you laugh at. They're funny. So, some quotes here, of which there were many that I discovered. But comedy has a role because it brings people together and cuts through the nonsense. But you can also get away with being irreverent, of which, oh God, there's plenty of that with Tripod. When we laugh at a joke, we have to admit that something about the joke makes sense. It sneaks the message in. And a Pew Research poll in America showed that viewers of humorous news, such as The Daily Show and The Colbert Report, exhibited higher retention of the news facts rather than any other of the mediums. So, with that brief, we also decided that for World Environment Day last year, we wanted to move away from the primary students and move into secondary students as a target group, and also those people who possibly weren't interested at all in waste management. So comedy was a good way to attract them. So Tripod were engaged as the creative directors. They came up, they met Tracy, spoke to the waste team, found out about their current programs, and in particular the key messages they wanted to get across, which, as you can see, Tripod made very clear: a day about where to stick your rubbish, and also you can see the 3-bin system. I don't think they're the right colours, but the idea was the 3-bin system. But they soon created an ambitious event as well, and it turned into a large family fun day during the day for the family, and adults only comedy gala in the evening. So the day event included bands such as Vegetable Plot for the kiddies through to All My Exes Live in Texas for the grown-ups. And apart from the activities, the workshops in upcycling furniture and compost and things, there was a panel discussion called Wheelie, as in Wheelie, W-H, Wheelie, which included Penrith City Council waste workers and Costa and Tripod. Who's a Good Sort, which was an activity about sorting rubbish, Fast and Refurious, which had wheelie bin races, and for some reason they were insistent on an orange carry. I actually never really understood how that fitted in, but they really wanted one. But our favourite was Binsketball, in which the local netball team was commissioned with the task of creating a brand new game that involved 2 bins and a netball. And they achieved that. It was great, which you'll soon see. So in the evening, we presented the Adults Only Comedy Gala, and its purpose was twofold: to thank the good folks of Penrith for doing a great job with their rubbish, but to attract those people who weren't engaged at all. It featured comedians such as Rhys Nicholson and Luke Heggie and other friends, and Tripod topped off the night with a song or an anthem, which hasn't really gone very far, called Penrith Your Rubbish. So We just breathed while the mayor was in the room, but it all went down okay. So here's how it shaped up. I might need your help, or does it?
We're scared of dentists in the night. Now we're scared of pretty girls and fighting conversations. All my friends are turning green in a magician's assistant in their dream. No. And they call monster.
So we also launched the inaugural Binama film competition. And the idea behind Binama was to engage the secondary students and young filmmakers, but also to create a social media campaign that was interesting and new and fresh. And Binama was a great way to be able to leverage that and get it out to the community. So here's the call to action for Binama.
Attention filmmakers, whether you've got an iPhone or an IMAX film camera, you're going to want to get them rolling for the first ever Binama Film Festival that we're going to be holding at World Environment Sunday in Penrith. Am I just going to keep walking? We're after a funny or not funny 3-minute film that teaches folks to empty their recyclables before they put them in the bin. Films will be shown in the foyer of the Joan Sutherland Theatre and be judged on artistic merit by a tripod and a waste management expert on waste management. So aim high. Get your friends together and have a ball.
Anyone can do it. Even me?
The first ever Binama Film Festival. Details here. You could just put it under my face.
So that was our social media campaign, but one of the biggest challenges with Binama was trying to choose a suitable prize. Tripod said, no, it can't be something that can go into waste. There's a lot of talk about possibly a recycled phone, but we just didn't know if that was the right prize for the teenagers. So in the end, it was agreed that the prize was to be shown at the Comedy Gala. That was the first thing that went up. So here's the prize winner of the Binama competition. The winning entry.
Landfill. It's fantastic. Just look at it. Mountains of things. This used to be a field. Who'd want to live next to a field? Not this guy. He's totally up for landfill. If you're not up for landfill, you can recycle. What? You already do? Christmas freaking morning every 2 weeks for you. Job done. Well done. Planet saved. Unless, of course, you're not emptying your containers. Yes, you have to empty your containers, stock footage redhead. If you do, all these people can recycle your things and save the planet. Yay! Job done. If you don't, you leave them sad at the thought of going to work. Look at this woman. crying in her car. She can't face another day at the plant because of your yogurt. Your yogurt did this to her. Or maybe it was your juice or your milk or your peanut butter or your fish paste. I don't know, I wasn't there. Stop mucking it up. Clean up your recycling before you recycle it so it can be recycled. If you've got any questions, go onto the internet. It's where the answers are. Well done, stock footage redhead.
So overall, the outcomes of World Environment Sunday, it was called that because World Environment Day was actually on the Monday, so we had to call it Sun-Day, was very wide media coverage, not only in the local region, but, you know, Triple M, Radio National, drive time shows, mainstream media. So again, getting the message out very broadly. The engagement of various groups with the family in the daytime and then the adults only show in the evening. And using this approach too has encouraged, comedians, as we know, often use their content for social issues. They were pleased to be involved and interested in subsequent years. I approached Craig Rucastle from The Chaser to help out with Penrith's Real Festival last year. Building on this, he was really delighted to do that. Now he has learnt about Penrith's program, and they'll be featuring in the War on Waste next season. Again, millions will see that. So it's raising that awareness and getting out very broadly. So I'll just finish with a slide. This is our next one. These are the comedians that we have. We'll only be doing the Comedy Gala on June 3. Come along if you're in the neighbourhood, please. Tickets are already on sale. It's a free event. Thank you, Penrith City Council. This one will be a bit different in that we're going to make it more interactive with some improv from Rebecca, panel discussions with Rod and Simon, leading comedians there. Demi's just been awarded various things with the Comedy Festival, and again, adults only, and you're all welcome. So thank you for your time.